Are you there,
Yeah,
Mr. Ibrahim?
thank you so much.
Can you hear me? Okay. This is Bangladesh's first election since 2024, student-led uprising that ousted Sheikh Hasina. From what you've observed, does this feel like democratic reset or a transition still shadowed by last year's upheaval?
No, thank you very much for your question. The vote in Bangladesh has started from the 7:30 in the morning, and it has ended the 4:30. So this is a huge, hours that people are participating in this election, and we have visited a lot of, vote center, and we saw the people. They are come in the vote center so spontaneously, and they are very eager to their vote processing. So we saw a lot of men and women. They have participated in the vote road. So this has looked like a festive mood, here. And so people are very much enthusiastic about the election, and they are very much, fond of to find their new leader and the new government for this Bangladesh.
So how is the public reacting to the exclusion of one of the country's most dominant political forces, the Awami League?
So there is a mix-up reaction among the voters. That after the uprising has done by the students, those who wants a free and fair Bangladesh and free and fair election. So the students and the people and those who are participated in the uprising time say they have no objection about the Awami League exclusion. So they say that the Awami League is responsible for all of the death is during the uprising time. So they say that this party should get in a judicial process, and after that they should have their democratic all kind of function. About the exclusion of Awami League, there is a mixture opinion. Also, there are supporters from some district like Gopalganj and other. From that particular district, the voters from that district, they are not that much enthusiastic about the vote on that time. But rest of the district, there is no problem with the exclusion of Awami League.
Okay, so nearly 1 million security personnel were deployed nationwide. What was the real mood on the ground? Hope, caution, anger, or fatigue?
There is most common thing about the South Asian countries' election and the process is most common thing is violence. So violence is very common over there. But what we saw in the last 17 years election, we saw there are a lot of violence in the election time. But this year, we saw that there is not that much, that much eye-catching or that much, overvasting violence news. We couldn't find something like this. Everything will be that was so peaceful, and people gave their vote so peacefully, and not that much violence news around.
And the last question, Mr. Ibrahim, beyond choosing a new parliament, voters are deciding on constitutional changes. In your view, is this election about transferring power or fundamentally redesigning Bangladesh political order?
So, critic from this country, those who are politically very much thinking about that, there are also the mixture opinion about that. But the students, the young voter, basically they are very much enthusiastic about this election because for July Charter, the BNP and other political parties, they have signed already the July Charter. So everybody, those who are participating in this election, they want a basic change in Bangladesh constitutional change, those which we look on the July Charter. So young voters, they are trying to say that we must need to follow the July Charter after the election, and the new government should follow the July Charter and do everything on this July Charter, because that no authority and government can make up in future. So the Bangladesh get a peaceful country for the future moment.
That was all, Mr. Ibrahim. Thank you so much for your time here at NTV World Primetime News. Now moving on to the bulletin. Back at home, the Election Commission of Nepal has said that the printing of ballot papers for 124 electoral constituencies in 58 districts has been completed. So far, 15,778,000 ballot papers have been printed. According to the Election Commission, ballot papers have been printed for districts like Dolpa, Mugu, Kalikot, Humla, Jajarkot, Bajang, among others. Ballot papers for 53 districts has been printed on Wednesday, while printing was completed for an additional 5 districts today. Around 1.5 million ballot papers are being printed every day. Similarly, 20,830,000 ballot papers for the proportional representation electoral system have already been printed. The EC has said that ballot papers for 12 electoral constituencies in 10 districts of Karnali were dispatched today. About 15 days ahead of the polls, the Election Commission is launching a nationwide voter education drive aimed at curbing invalid ballots and boost informed participation. Similar awareness efforts in past elections were also rolled out late that aided in increasing the number of invalid votes. Election officials say voter education is crucial to reaching citizens in remote areas, many of whom are illiterate or have limited formal education, and this time the campaign will combine outreach with digital tools to help reduce errors and misinformation. The Commission has assured that additional field officers and community volunteers will be deployed to maximize last-mile outreach and ensure voters clearly understand the ballot process. Now, Nepal's Prime Minister Sushila Karki has said that conducting voting in the mountainous and hilly districts on March 5 is possible under any circumstances. The Prime Minister said this after reaching the mountainous district of Solukhumbu to assess election preparations, relevant security arrangements and geographical challenges. Now, now we'll take a short break here. Nepal's President Ramchandra Paudel has prorogued the current session of the National Assembly to be effective from midnight on February 13. President Paudel has prorogued the session of the National Assembly, the upper house of Federal Parliament, on the recommendation of the Council of Ministers on February 9, in accordance with Article 93(2) of the Constitution of Nepal. The current session of the National Assembly was convened on January 18. Now, the condition of malnutrition among children under the age of 5 in Nepal's western district of West Novalparasi has been found to be serious. 15% of children have been identified as suffering from malnutrition during an ongoing nutrition assessment of children conducted across all 7 local levels of the district in coordination with local governments. So far, 13,226 children have been examined. Of them, 13.7% or 1,816 children have been found to be moderately malnourished, while 1.3% or 172 children are suffering from severe malnutrition. The target is to conduct nutrition assessments of a total of 22,636 children aged between 6 months and 59 months in the district. Children with malnutrition have started receiving therapeutic food through health institutions, while those suffering from severe malnutrition are being provided ready-to-use therapeutic food, RUFT, supplied by the government of Nepal. Now, Dhading district in Nepal has launched a campaign to designate Siddhalek Rural Municipality as a conservation area for the spiny babbler, locally known as Kare Bhyakur. This rare bird species is categorized as vulnerable and requires protection. Rojina Rai with our local correspondent Shiva Silwal brings the matter.
The spiny babbler, locally known as Kare Bhyakur in Nepal, is a rare bird species that requires protection. This medium-sized brown bird thrives in forest above 1200 meters and is native to the middle hills of Nepal. First described in 1836, it was once thought to be extinct, but is now recognized as a non-migratory resident that inhabits shrubby, thorny bushes areas in various districts of Nepal. Found only in Nepal, the spiny babbler has become a symbol of the country's rich natural heritage. Recognizing its importance, the Division Forest Office Dhading has launched an awareness campaign in Siddhalek Rural Municipality to educate local communities about the need to protect this unique species. Supported by the Bagmati province government, the initiative aims not only to conserve the spiny babbler but also to strengthen environmental stewardship in the region. The program focuses on local community members who rely on community forest, teaching them how they can play an active role in protecting their forest and the birds. Through workshops and community discussions, people are learning about forest conservation, biodiversity, and practical steps to safeguard the spiny babbler, ensuring that this emblem of Nepal's natural heritage continues to thrive forever. The spiny babbler, Kare Bhyakur, is most commonly seen in the Nalang area of Siddhalek, though it has also been spotted in Kathmandu, Lalitpur, Chitwan, and Tanahu. Locals recall a time when the birds were hunted due to a lack of awareness about their ecological value. Today, thanks to awareness programs and proactive leadership, efforts are underway to ensure that the spiny babbler is protected. Protecting this bird will definitely help preserve regional biodiversity, safeguard the environment, and provide broader ecological benefits. Rojina Rai with the local correspondent Shiva Silwal from Dhading, reporting for NTV World.
Time to go for a short break now. Do stay tuned with us. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World Primetime News. Now it's time for international updates. At least 21 people have died after a passenger boat sank in River Nile state in northern Sudan. The boat was traveling between the villages of Teba al-Khawad and Dim al-Kharai, carrying nearly 30 passengers, including women, elderly people and children, according to Sudan Doctor Network. Authorities in River Nile state that on Thursday that 21 bodies had been recovered. Eyewitnesses said the boat capsized due to high waves in the Shendi area. River Nile state, where the boat accident occurred, has been largely spared from frontal fighting, though the border instability has strained resources and infrastructure nationwide. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has selected his daughter as his heir, South Korea's spy agency told lawmakers on Thursday. Little is known about Kim Joo-ae, who in recent months have been pictured beside her father in high-profile events like a visit to Beijing in September, her first known trip abroad. The National Intelligence Service, NIS, said it took a range of circumstances into account, including her increasingly prominent public presence at official events, in making this assessment. The NIS also said it would keep close tabs on whether she will attend the North's Party Congress later this month, its largest political event that is held once every 5 years. EU leaders are meeting for a roundtable on economic competitiveness during an informal retreat at the 16th century Olden Basin Castle in Belgium. The bloc is seeking ways to punch its economic weight on the global stage, faced with threats from China and the United States and hamstrung by its own divisions. Officials say the informal nature of the retreat allows for open debate on contentious issues such as balancing fiscal discipline with the need for joint investment, harmonizing regulations across member states, and ensuring the EU can respond effectively to external economic pressures. The roundtable is intended to inform policy decisions ahead of upcoming European Council meetings and to identify consensus on how the bloc can project greater economic weight on the global stage. United States Energy Secretary Chris Wright vowed Wednesday to drive a dramatic increase in Venezuelan oil production as part of an initiative to strengthen energy ties between the United States and Venezuela. Wright made the remarks after meeting interim President Delcy Rodriguez in the Venezuelan capital, becoming the highest-ranking U.S. official to visit the country since the overthrow of longtime leader Nicolas Maduro on January 3. Speaking in Caracas, Wright said the effort to boost Venezuela's output of crude oil, natural gas and electricity is aimed at creating jobs and improving living standards in both countries under a border agenda to make the Americas great again, a phrase tied to U.S. policy goals. The visit comes amid a significant shift in U.S.-Venezuelan relations following actions earlier this year that removed Maduro from power and eased sanctions on the Venezuelan energy sector. An 18-year-old has been named as the suspect in a shooting that killed 8 people and injured dozen more in Britain, Colombia, Canada. Police said Jesse Van Ruth Seller was found dead at the scene from a self-inflicted gunshot injury. The motive for the attack is not yet known. 6 people were killed and at least 25 others were injured at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. Hundreds of mourners meanwhile gathered to exchange comfort and moments of silence in Tumbler Ridge's main square and outside the British Columbia legislature in Victoria. We have more international updates on other side, but for this time, let's take a short break. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World Primetime News. An enhanced version of Europe's Ariane 6 rocket will blast off Thursday to launch 32 satellites into orbit, forming part of the Amazon LEO network, which it hopes will rival Elon Musk's Starlink. The launch will be a first for Amazon Leo, formerly known as Project Kuiper, from Europe's spaceport in Kourou, French Guiana, on the northern eastern coast of South America. U.S. firm Amazon, founded by billionaire Jeff Bezos, is the main commercial partner for the Ariane 6, despite the latter being touted as a symbol of European sovereignty in the sector. Although it is eventually expected to carry out 10 launches per year, Perry Leonard, Eurospace Research Director, noted that at this stage this would not be possible without commercial customers like Amazon. China welcomed the Year of the Horse with spectacular fireworks displays featuring innovative molten fireworks that create glowing streams of molten-like spark in the night sky. The celebrations held in cities across the country combine traditional pyrotechnics with modern effects to mark the Lunar New Year. Officials say the molten-style fireworks are designed to be visually striking while highlighting China's long-standing traditions of fireworks, which have been used for centuries to celebrate major events and festivals. Crowds gathered in public squares and long rivers to watch the displays, which lasted for several hours, creating a vibrant and festive atmosphere. The event reflects China's ongoing efforts to blend cultural heritage with technological innovation in public celebrations. The Del Cerro 2.0 seawater desalination facility, located in an industrial zone on Gran Canaria, has set a Guinness World Record for the lowest energy consumption ever recorded at a desalination plant. The facility produces water at 1.794 kilowatt hours per cubic meter, approximately 25% below the global average of seawater desalination. Officials say the plant's mobile design not only reduces energy use but also provides a flexible solution for isolated or remote areas. The record underscores ongoing efforts to make water production more energy efficient as demand for sustainable desalination grows worldwide. The facility is part of a broader initiative to develop low-energy adaptable desalination technologies in the Canary Islands and beyond. Now we are moving into sports. Nepal has suffered a humiliating 10-wicket defeat to Italy in the ICC T20 World Cup match held today. Displaying a poor performance in both batting and bowling, Nepal failed to claim a single wicket as Italy comfortably chased down the target. Italy's victory was powered by an outstanding opening partnership between the Mosca brothers. Anthony Mosca smashed 62 runs off 32 balls, hitting 3 fours and 6 sixes. Similarly, Justin Mosca scored 60 runs off 44 deliveries, including 5 fours and 3 sixes, guiding Italy to a comprehensive win without losing a wicket. In other match of the day, Sri Lanka registered a 105-run victory over Oman. Meanwhile, India is batting against Namibia in the match underway at Arun Jaitley Stadium in Indian city of Delhi. Now, outfits worn by French athletes, costumes and props from the opening ceremony, medals and more than 150 other items, videos and sound recordings are now on display at the National Sports Museum in France's Nice. The exhibition, titled A Summer in 2024, invites visitors to relive the atmosphere of the Paris Olympic and Paralympic Games. Organized in partnership with Olympic institutions and featuring objects loaned, donated or brought at auction from federations and athletes, the showcase will remain open until 2030 Olympic Games. Museum officials say the exhibition is designed not only for sports enthusiasts but also for the wider public interested in the Olympic movement and French sporting history. Before we wrap up, let's have a recap of our headlines. Bangladesh goes to election in first since Hasina's ouster. Over 2,000 candidates contest as Awami League banned. Nepal completes ballot paper printing for 124 constituencies to launch voters' education drive 15 days before polls. Nepal's Prime Minister reviews election preparations in mountainous districts. EC starts dispatching ballot papers to remote districts. 15% children malnourished in Nepal's West Novalparasi. Over 1,800 found moderately affected as district-wide assessment continues. At least 21 killed after passenger boat sank in River Nile State in northern Sudan. Rough water sea to cause capsize. And Nepal suffers a humiliating 10-wicket defeat to Italy in its second match of ICC T20 World Cup. That's all for the moment here on NTV World Primetime News. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Do join us throughout social media and get the latest update from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. I'm Suviksha Rajak and thank you for staying with us here. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu. Public Service Broadcasting, PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World, facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries. Where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it. NTV World. Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by. Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
Only after 6 decades of the institutional development of the now popular game of cricket did Nepal get the opportunity to play in the World Cup. Although cricket was introduced in Nepal during the Rana regime, the sport was confined to a limited number of people, namely the elite. It all started with equipment brought by students returning from their studies in Britain and India. Although Cricket Association of Nepal (CAN) was established in 1947, cricket remained centered among a few affluent individuals and in limited tournaments for a long time. Starting with the Bishnu Trophy in 1948, tournaments were limited to competitions like the Madan Memorial Sealed, Jugal Kishore Trophy, Rammani Trophy, and later the Jai Trophy. Even as the sport expanded outside Kathmandu Valley, it took decades for cricket to develop at the grassroots level. After the International Cricket Council (ICC) granted Nepal affiliate membership in 1988, Nepali cricket embarked on its international journey. The rule of mandatory participation in tournaments by the ICC and the Asian Cricket Council (ACC) opened doors to international competition for Nepal. After participating in the Under-19 Asian tournament in Hong Kong in 1996, Nepal has not looked back. Winning titles at the Asian and global levels, Nepali cricket team continues its journey towards the pinnacle of world cricket.
Goes down the ground because he was given that line outside off stump. So the first boundary of the contest, a handsome one.
Initially confined to Turikhel in Kathmandu, many international tournaments were hosted in Nepal after an international standard ground was built in Kirtipur. Nepal has also shown its proactiveness in differently abled cricket tournaments like the T20 World Cup for the blind in 2012 and the Asian Cricket Tournament for the deaf. Nepali women's national cricket team has also achieved remarkable success in a short period of time. The latest addition in Nepali cricket is the floodlit Tribhuvan University Cricket Stadium and the Nepal Premier League that has provided opportunity for Nepali players to rub shoulders with world-class players.
Hello and welcome to The Perspective, the weekly current affairs program on NTV World. I'm Sabika Shrestha. Here we pick the major news of the week, unpack its significance and examine how today's decision shape tomorrow's direction. This week's major issues of the day centered on following subjects. As Nepal prepares for the March 5 House of Representatives election, the Election Commission is expediting preparations, tightening expense limits and investigating Code of Conduct violations, while publishing the final proportional representation list. Security measures include a nationwide drone ban, army deployment and heightened monitoring of media and social platforms to curb misinformation. Meanwhile, parties face criticism for failing to publicize manifestos. Crime concerns rise in Kathmandu after the Genji-led movement and also the regional updates shaping the broader election environment. Is Nepal's March 5 House of Representatives election going to be manifesto-less? Till date, no parties have submitted their election manifesto at the Election Commission. While parties technically still have time, the Election Code of Conduct is designed to ensure voters can judge them based on clear written places of policies and programs. Sarah Sapsanama Rai looks into why parties still are not bringing out their manifestos.
With the March 5 House of Representatives election days away, major political parties in Nepal are on the ground almost halfway through their campaign, courting voters at their doorsteps. However, the candidates are empty-handed, without any political documents that is central to the election campaign anywhere around the world. Strikingly, most of them from Nepali Congress with its younger leadership, CPNUM led by seasoned veterans, Pushpakamal Dahal coordinated Nepali Communist Party to the much talked about Rashtriya Swatantra Party that is fielding popular candidates. They have yet to formally announce their election manifestos. So the question is obvious. What exactly are these parties promising voters without a written roadmap? So far, only Netra Bikramchand-led Communist Party has unveiled its manifesto, pledging to dismantle what it calls capitalist, broker-driven and imperialist policies. But the Election Commission confirms none have officially registered their manifesto yet.
Till the date, no political parties have submitted their election manifestos. The Section 37 of Election Code of Conduct 2082 says that all the political parties and candidates should prepare and publicize their election manifestos for the concern of common people, and also they should submit one copy of election manifesto to the Election Commission Nepal.
Party representatives, however, say manifesto drafting is in its final stage, with many adopting a wait-and-watch strategy, hoping perhaps to outmaneuver rivals once the first major document is unveiled.
If there are, written promises that will serve as information to the common people, apart from that, it will also serve as a document of accountability. Similarly, this will help the common people to know what sort of change they are voting for. And in case the party they voted for is able to form the government, they will be able to press for the promises they made. In the absence of these manifestos, the common, the candidates will speak for themselves, and hundreds of candidates from the same party, when they speak for themselves in different corner meetings, obviously they will not leave any imprint for public policy. It is going to be a difficult thing even for the political parties who will be in opposition, because they will not be able to call for public accountability when they know that the party which is forming government does not know what exactly how it is going to govern.
As election day nears, the delay shifts the focus from policies to personalities, leaving voters to make choices without seeing the full promises on paper.
For the March 5 House of Representatives election, Nepal's Election Commission has tightened screws on spending of parties and candidates. Financial transparency and regulated expenditure underscore Election Commission's effort to strengthen democratic processes and ensure that money power does not overshadow political competition. Amid winds of change central to the March 5 election, the financial scrutiny is likely to shape both how parties plan their campaigns and how voters perceive the core of political actors. With less than a month remaining for Nepal's House of Representatives election, tighter financial regulations from the Election Commission has affected parties and candidates' campaigns. The aim, according to the Commission, is to promote transparency, control rising election costs, and curb the influence of money in politics. The Commission has divided the country's 165 constituencies into 5 categories and fixed different campaign expenditure ceilings based on voter numbers, geography, and accessibility. Spending limits range from a minimum of 2.5 million rupees to a maximum of 3.3 million rupees, with variations applied even within the same district. According to the Commission, candidates in 26 constituencies are allowed to spend up to 3.3 million rupees, while 52 constituencies have a ceiling of 3.1 million rupees. Similarly, candidates in 65 constituencies can spend up to rupees 2.9 million. 17 constituencies have a cap of 2.7 million rupees, and 5 constituencies have been assigned the lowest limit of rupees 2.5 million. Assistant spokesperson of the Election Commission, Kul Bahadur Zisi, said that differences in expenditure limits within the same district are determined by factors such as the number of voters and geographical conditions.
Everything should be included, whether it is in rallies or campaigns or in advertisements or in other activities. All those spendings should be included together. Then it should not be beyond the given limitation. According to PR system, they have to spend as per the number of their close list candidates. In first past the post system, each candidate can spend from 25 lakh to 33 lakh. It is depending on the number of polling centers, number of the voters, and also the area of the constituency.
Constituencies permitted to spend the maximum of 3.3 million rupees include Taplejung, Pasthar, Sangkhwa-Shava, Sholkhumbu, Khotang, Dolakha, Ramechhap, Humla, Jazarkot, Bajhang, Doti, and Baitadi. To further enhance financial transparency, the Election Commission has implemented the Election Campaign Bank Account Operation and Management Procedures 2082. Under the rules, political parties and candidates must operate campaign income and expenditure exclusively through designated bank accounts. Donations must be deposited directly into these accounts, and cash transactions above 25,000 rupees are prohibited. The Commission has warned that failure to comply with spending limits or reporting requirements could lead to legal action, including challenges to election results. As election approaches, entire high-altitude Himalayan villages in districts like Darchula, Humla, Dolpa, Manang and Mustang stand empty due to seasonal migration. The Election Commission, however, has ruled out setting up alternative polling centres. Our colleague Sivani Thapa, along with Saloja Dahal, had asked Election Commission on logistic transportation.
Due to snowfall and extreme cold, most residents of high Himalayan areas of Nepal have already descended to lower regions to escape the winter. In areas with permanent settlements, the Election Commission has reported that no temporary polling stations have been arranged, even though voters are absent from their home villages. In Darchula, entire residents from the Changru and Tinker areas had already moved to the district headquarters Khalanga during the first week of Mangsir, that's around mid-November. After the onset of snow, they left their homes and are expected to return only by the last week of Baishak, that's around mid-April. With voters relocated to the district headquarters, the election office has already decided to shift 2 polling centres from Darchula to Khalanga. This situation is not limited to Darchula. Upper regions of Manang, Mustang, Humla and Dolpa districts are also largely empty. In Dolpo, a petition was submitted to the Election Commission noting that apart from the village officials, no citizens remain in the villages of Buddha and Sheifok Sondo rural municipality. Similarly, in Humla's northern Namkha rural municipality, all 3 settlements in Limika are completely deserted. Travel in Nyalu Lake and Nara Lake villages has been halted due to heavy snowfall. As permanent residents have left, some local governments have requested the Election Commission to set up temporary polling stations. However, the Commission stated that the election process would not face significant difficulties and has not yet taken any steps to establish temporary voting centres. Despite the challenges of managing elections in deserted high Himalayan areas, the Commission is treating the situation as part of normal procedures and is moving forward with the electoral process.
Election canvassing is at war footing across the country as March 5 approaches. One of the interesting contests of the 165 constituencies is going to be seen in Rukum East, where coordinator of Nepali Communist Party, Pushpakamal Dahal, the commander of 10-year-old armed conflict, is up against Sandeep Pun, who lost both his parents in the same conflict. We look at the single constituency of Rukum East, where 11 candidates are in the fray.
Rukum East is drawing a lot of attention in the build-up to the March 5 election, as one of the 3 former prime ministers in the fray is contesting here. The district has 34,772 voters, of which around 80% are from Magar community. Considered the epicenter of the Maoist rebellion that started decades ago, the district has the commander of the rebellion, Pushpakamal Dahal, contesting the election. Of the 11 candidates, including 2 women, the election is being seen as rivalry between Dahal and a young Pragatishil Loktantrik Party candidate, Sandeep Pun. Pun, a former Maoist cadre himself, lost both his parents in the People's War. Dahal has a record of changing his constituencies every election since 2004 Constituent Assembly polls from Rolpa 2 to Rukum East. Though the contest between a seasoned leader and a youth might have attracted headlines, there are other equally impactful candidates as well. Nepali Congress leader Kusum Devi Thapa is one of the 2 women candidates in the race. According to Thapa, education, health, employment, road construction and promotion of local production are also in the priority of Rukum East. Leelamani Gautam, who was elected as a Central Committee member representing youths below 40 years of age in the last General Convention of the CP and UML, says the candidacy is for responsible political culture. Jyoti Rokamagar of the Mongol National Organization, Lakhan Kumar Thapa of the Rashtriya Swatantra Party, Roshan Shah of Rashtriya Prajatantra Party, Chandra Prasad Shahi of Rashtriya Jana Morcha, Dharma Kumar Budha of National Republic Nepal, Juddha Bahadur Budha Magar of Nepal Communist Party Maoist, and Sheer Bahadur Budha of the Janta Samajwadi Party are contesting in the constituency. Rukum, which was described as the headquarters during the Maoist Armed People's War, has been continuously conquered by then Maoist since 2nd Constituent Assembly election in 2008. The district has traditionally favored former CP and Maoist centre candidates in almost all elections since the party came to the peace process.
March 5 House of Representatives election will see a massive security deployment across the country. Over 3,03,000 personnel from the Nepal Army, Nepal Police, Armed Police Force, Election Police and National Investigation Department are mobilized under the Integrated Election Security Plan. Election Police will guard polling stations, the Armed Police Force will provide secondary protection, and the Army will secure the outer perimeter across all 165 constituencies. Their duties cover ballot printing and transport, polling and counting centers, airports, prisons, and other critical sites. The Election Commission has partnered with TikTok to combat misinformation ahead of Nepal's March 5 House of Representatives elections. The agreement aims to block false or inappropriate content that could violate the Electoral Code of Conduct. TikTok will provide tools and support free of charge during the election period, helping authorities maintain transparency and credibility. Acting Chief Election Commissioner Ram Prasad Bhandari called the collaboration a historic step to prevent misuse of technology and safeguard the integrity of the electoral process. Kathmandu Valley is facing a surge in robberies and organized crime ahead of Nepal's March 5 elections. Police say escaped prisoners from the Gen Z protests are behind many incidents, exploiting reduced patrolling as security forces focus on election duties. Late-night operations have led to arrests tied to multiple thefts and robberies, while recovering looted weapons remains a priority. Damaged CCTV cameras and destroyed criminal records from the protests have further hampered crime tracking, raising public safety concerns across the capital and beyond. Here's the story. As the country's focus shifts to March 5 House of Representatives election, social order seems to be disturbed of late, especially in federal capital Kathmandu. Surge in criminal activities including theft and looting has been fueled by escaped inmates during the Gen Z protests and also the larger scale deployment of security personnel for upcoming elections. Late Thursday night, Kathmandu police opened fire to arrest Prem Chaudhary of Banki at Nagarjun Municipality 6, Mahankal, recovering 65 tolas of gold, silver, cash and homemade weapons. Police said Chaudhary linked to a string of thefts across Bhotibahal, Bauddha Tushal, Kalimati and parts of Lalitpur attack officers during the arrest attempt. Police shot Chaudhary in the leg after they were attacked, leaving one police constable injured. Just days earlier, police carried out another late-night operation in Mulpani, arresting 23-year-old Binay Tamang, the leader of an active organized robbery gang active across the Kathmandu Valley. Tamang had escaped police custody during the Gen Z protest and is accused of orchestrating at least 22 robbery incidents within 3 months.
The inmates, they were absconded from the jail at the time of Gen Z movement, and they are involving in the theft case, robbery case, because of they are most trained and skillful theft. And almost 90% weapons we recovered, and most of other weapons we are on process to recover and find out. And every day our prime responsibility is to recover the looted weapons, because it's a very much prime challenge for us, to the whole society.
The impact of escaped prisoners is not limited to the capital, with similar incidents of robbery reported across the country. Though police says that more than 90% of the looted weapons during the Gen Z movement has already been recovered, the deployment of security personnel for March 5 election is another major reason.
कैदीहरूको पनि इन्भल्भमेन्ट छ। विशेष गरेर काठमाडौँमा हुने चोरीमा चाहिँ अधिकांश पटके चोरहरू, चोरी कार्यमा संलग्न पटकेहरू भएको देखिन्छ। 2082 सालको भाद्रमा भएको, भाद्र 23 र 24 मा भएको घटना, त्यसमा भएको तोडफोड, आगजनीमा हाम्रा जिल्ला प्रहरी परिसर लगायत विभिन्न पुलिस युनिटहरूमा रहेका आपराधिक अभिलेखहरू चाहिँ नष्ट भए, सरकारी वकिल कार्यालयमा रहेका आपराधिक अभिलेखहरू पनि नष्ट भए, अदालतमा भएका पनि आपराधिक अभिलेखहरू नष्ट भयो, हाम्रो पहिचान पनि अब हुँदैन भन्ने एउटा मानसिकतामा रहेर आफ्नो गतिविधिलाई अगाडि बढाएको चाहिँ यो पर्टिकुलर घटनाले देखाउँछ।
In addition to the election deployment of security personnel, the CCTV coverage that Nepali police had across major cities, including capital Kathmandu, is near obsolete. According to Nepal police, of the 1,500 total CCTV cameras vandalized during the 2 days of protest, only 800 have been restored so far. Though cases of robbery and theft have visibly increased in major cities, Nepal police claims that cases compared to last fiscal year is slightly lower. As printing of ballot papers for first past the post electoral system nears completion, Nepal's Election Commission is busy in arranging the transportation. Though the other materials, including ballot papers for proportional representation system, had completed long ago, the Commission planned to transport all logistics on a go. Bhavana Kesi, along with our correspondent Saloja Dahal, brings the Commission's preparations.
Printing of ballot papers for the first past the post electoral system is almost at the end, and the Election Commission is all set to start dispatching election materials to various districts in one go. The Commission has also prepared to transport election materials by trucks and containers to road-connected districts, while materials for high, hilly and mountainous districts will be airlifted by helicopters. The Commission has planned to use some materials already in stock while preparing to purchase 51 types of materials. Among them, items such as indelible ink and special security security seals have been procured through the government-to-government G2G system. In addition, the Commission has authorized district election officers concerned to procure 37 types of materials including swastika stamps, markers and stamp pads to reduce transportation costs. The Commission has also prepared a detailed schedule to complete the transportation of ballot papers by 22nd of February.
सडक यातायात भएको का जिल्लाहरूमा ट्रक तथा कन्टेनर व्यवसायहरूसँग हामी सम्झौताको क्रममा छौं। तर त्यस्तै गरिकन उच्च हिमाली र हिमाली जिल्लाहरूमा हेलिकप्टर प्रयोग गर्ने ठाउँमा हेलिकप्टरसँग पनि हामी सम्झौताको प्रक्रियामा छौं। त्यसैले आवश्यकता अनुसार हेलिकप्टरबाट पनि हुन्छ ढुवानी र ट्रक एवं कन्टेनरबाट पनि ढुवानी हुने भएको हुनाले हामी सोही अनुसार तयारी अवस्थामा छौं।
The ballot boxes and the papers used for ballot printing are the remaining materials purchased for the 2022's general election and left unused at that time. According to the Commission, the transportation of other unused and reusable materials to districts near Kathmandu has already begun.
The Election Commission has received 34 complaints with 24 responses from parties and candidates. Spokesperson Narayan Prasad Bhattarai said district-level committees are addressing cases while monitoring bodies nationwide enforce the code of conduct. Meanwhile, the final proportional representation list includes 3,135 candidates from the parties. With these updates, we come to the end of today's episode. Do join us again next week for more perspectives. Until next week, thank you for being with us.
Power is often misunderstood. We think of it as control, coercion, or even command. But history shows that the most durable power is persuasion without force, what we now call soft power. Welcome to Jeopard. I'm Shivani Thapa Bosniak. My guest today does not speak or carry emblems around, yet globally he may be one of Nepal's most effective representatives. A Grammy nominee, a global music collaborator and creator whose music carries Nepal into spaces diplomacy rarely reaches. Let him introduce in the language that he best speaks to the world.
यो शान्त मनमा शान्त जगाउनु मृग तृष्णा सरी जीवनमा के छ पाउनु भन के नै गुमाउनु किन मान्छे यहाँ आफ्नै भुलमा पनि एक्लै एक्लै यहाँ गाली र दोषको भुमरीमा रुमल्ली रुमल्ली रहन्छन् भोलि बुद्धकै भई आउनु बाँसुरी श्री कृष्णकै बजाउनु भोलि बुद्धकै भई आउनु बाँसुरी श्री कृष्णकै बजाउनु मृग तृष्णासरी जीवनमा के छ पाउनु भन के नै गुमाउनु
And that possibly was the best language the audience could read you. Manoj Newa, dear viewers, the first ever Nepali Grammy nominee to the world. And this is the language that the world understands from Manoj, from what they, and how they read Manoj and how they read Nepal. Welcome to Geopod, Manoj.
Thank you, Shivani.
The first time I saw you performing, I stood there questioning myself who this guy is.
Playing the bamboo flute.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure many can relate to that very quick. Before we talk about music, who were you before music happened?
Let me go back. I grew up in Bodh, Kathmandu, and I think I was 8 years old. I was in my bed. There was no electricity. And the dark of the night, a very mystical sound I heard. It was so, something so magical that changed my life. So before that, I think I was just a kid trying to,
An 8-year-old.
8-year-old, yeah. I'm still looking for that sound. I'm still longing for that sound. And in that process of looking for that sound, I got to meet all this beautiful sound. I'm actually sure that was the sound I heard is Lord Krishna playing flute. And that's my inspiration still now to look, how could something can be so beautiful?
Right. I can visualize. As you talk, I'm visualizing an 8-year-old around a very, a very picturesque and a very rich setting like Baudhanath, running around playing with his mates, probably marble or chungi or something like that, right?
Totally.
And then you grew up in this city, so vibrant, with so sounds, right? Temples, bells, monasteries.
Monasteries.
And there's silence as well, the streets, right?
Yep.
When did you actually realize this was not only a sound of the background, but your calling?
When we do something, like a project, there's a process. The music, I'm talking about the inner music. Of course, the world has everything has a sound. Even there is no sound, there's a sound. There's a live sound, there is not a live sound. Even the noise is a sound in the right context. Noise can be music in the right place, no? Since I was a little kid, I have a very distinct clarity of a different sound in my ear. To have the clarity in that sound, the shades of sound, the longing for it, the motivation to look for that sound, that connection, whatever you call it. You can say my spiritual awakening, but that's what made me.
So it was natural and inborn to you.
And that's a process of looking for instruments and people and music.
And how did training and technique happen to you? At what age?
My house is in front of Bodhanath Stupa. In my third floor, I look as the eyes of Buddha looking at me. Prayer flags are fluttering. The Tibetan horns, the monastic sound, the prayer wheels. Can you imagine? To able to just be there, to just witness that as a kid. And, just walk down, you go to Pasupatinath there, sit in front of, all the sadhus and the ghats. It's for a kid to have that experience, to realize our life is so precious. And same time, it's not something to have the ego for it, because everyone has to somehow, to able to see that. It taught me so much, Shivani. It taught me so much to be who I am today is taught to, we have seen what teaches us who we are in the depth. Who am I? Real me. Who Shivani? Who Manoj? Who real I am? That's a beautiful question to ask.
Right. So the large part of what you are today, or what you have been able to cater to the world, is the surroundings that you grew up in. That's exactly what you're trying to say.
It is really influenced by that. I'm very grateful for that.
When did you actually realize that this is going to be your language for the world for the rest of your life?
I never thought I would take this journey as a profession. I never even. I could just play a note in the bamboo flute, my bansuri. Just one note all day and get so satisfied inside. And I would hear, it will melt me so deep inside. I'm so happy. Wow, how could something be so beautiful? And that also drive me to practice. Again, look, there's a motivation and there's a drive for practice, which was, nobody's telling me to do that. It was the inner fire. Inner fire, oh my God. I'll wake up first thing, I'll think about practicing. I'll go to bed, think about practicing next morning. It's like total in love.
So you're drawn to it naturally.
Oh my God, I could not stop. I could not. I just practice I would practice for let's say 6-7 hours a day or 8 hours a day. Even in my sleep, I will be practicing. In my thoughts, this. And so practice sort of drove me to the places that people started to recognize me. Oh wow, this guy is not normal. He's not normal at all. So, I was very fortunate. Kiratisur Sangeetashram is one of the pioneer place that was started the full moon concert. Devotional music and plus Nepali Shastriya Sangeet. Last 35 years. So every full moon they do the free concerts. So I was able to meet my teacher there, Sri Madandev Bhatta. He saw the potential on me and he started to you need to learn. Wow, to find a teacher with that drive, my God. Now, Homnath Upadhyay, he was, one of my influence then. And then I met Dr. Dovesh Chandra Rigmi, all these people, Atul Gautam. And these are the pillars that time to kind of bring me to this music scene. And I started coming to Radio Nepal, Nepal television then, and slowly finding my way. Actually, the music can make a profession. They start to understand, wow, people want me to come play with them, and they want me to pay. I remember playing for one project for that German what is it, Goethe
Institute.
Yes, and I played in that time Royal Academy, we used to call that. And after the concert we did, my part was just 5 minutes playing, and they handed me 7,000 rupees. That was lots of money then. And I thought it was a mistake.
Oh my God! This must have been almost 3 decades ago, was it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
You must have been a kid then.
I was a kid. I was like a 17,
teenager,
18.
probably,
yeah,
right?
17, 18, and I'll do music every day just because I love it so much, and it heals me. As we know, music has so much healing power. Yeah.
Right. Let's talk about your signature instrument, bansuri. So deceptively simple it is, right?
Yes.
Right. Just a bamboo and breath.
That's right.
At least for a layman like me, who is not an expert in music. Why did something so minimal as bansuri, as we see it, felt so powerful enough for you to carry it as an instrument to express yourself?
That's a beautiful question. Bansuri is not just a Nepali thing. It goes everywhere in the world. Everywhere. If you really look at the history of the flute, the oldest instrument they have found so far in the world is a flute. It's made out of bone.
Really?
Isn't that amazing? So something with the wind, with the breath, and going through the cylinder, and even like Bhagwan Krishna. He's playing it.
What is this thing? I've heard and read so much about, the Krishna element of your musical journey somewhere. I don't exactly remember where. What is this element about your musical journey and the fascination with the
I'm
Basuri?
inspired by very much of Mahabharata, and what Krishna was guiding Arjuna. I get, it's life is a book. You have a choice to believe or not, whatever it is. But personally, it helps me to bring that Krishna element in my music, And when I close my eyes, when I play, brings me to the place of non-duality. Wherever I go, wherever I play in Japan or Chile or you name it, on 2 notes I play, energy shifts. I don't have to speak a language. I don't have to worry about how I look. I don't have to worry about my color of my skin. I would love to see the world that, they celebrate. Just each culture can celebrate their and
the universality of it, the harmony it disseminates.
Exactly.
I can't really wait, Manoj, for you to pick that flute out there and do that magic. I don't feel the need and the urge to, speak more and just let this flow, because this, I believe, is a music coming from a soul, meant to cater to the soul, right? In this age, Manoj, where, majority of the artists who are, what you call chasing mastery in whatever they're undertaking, you seem to have chased meaning.
That's the thing. More you know, less you know. I learn every day. Again, I learn from everyone. There's a sound, let's say there's a 7 sound, Satsur we call, Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Da Ni Sa. So within that, all the music, whatever here, it's inside that thing. But how mysterious it is for me is what is audible and what is not audible. It just because you cannot hear, it's not audible. It doesn't exist. You know what I mean? For example, what we see right now is a certain frequency. For example, if you put a grasshopper, it will see the ultraviolet, but we won't. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist there. Our existence is so mysterious. And we think, this is it? Oh my God, you're wrong. You're wrong. And so more you know, less you know. Because it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And again, I'm coming back to, sorry to bring in again the spirituality in the geopod, but that's where I surrender. What else?
How much music helps to dig deeper?
The power of music can really help to people to open their heart. You know, we talk about compassion, we talk about karuna, we can talk about, unity. So how to bring together a people in a place that there's no fear, complete trust. The world is a mess because they cannot trust each other. You cannot trust. I don't know why people are not trusting each other. Personally, I think there is enough for everyone. There's plenty is given to us. But somehow we are. Maybe it's a human thing, We are afraid that we don't have enough. But music, it doesn't. I play for you. It's not going to cost anything, We share. My experience of going around the world, music and cooking together, that's going to bring the world together. So we need to share our culture, our music, our food, but the uniqueness of what we have, it needs to be preserved.
Right.
It so need to be preserved. Otherwise, like for example, I was in Egypt a couple of years ago. All those temples are there, amazing temples. But there's no worshippers. They're just tourists. A temple without worship. Sometimes I worry about our country in that way. Can you imagine people stop going around Pasupati and Buddha and they just stay on their phone? My God.
Not everybody who comes to that seat, Manoj, talks with this intensity. Manoj, your journey took you far beyond Nepal. So you're currently based in?
I'm based in very near Silicon Valley in California. This place called Santa Cruz. It's a surfing town, beautiful place. And also based here in Kathmandu.
Your audience is wide and large, right? So many among these audiences, I believe, do not really understand the cultural or the musical or the linguistic roots that your work is coming from. What do you think they're connecting with?
We're all trying to get some love. That's it, at the end. When you're the mother, the child, we're looking for, mother's attention, and mother looks at the child, and that karuna, mamata, we call it, that's love. Just the facial expression of a child can release the oxytocin in your body, and that you have that caring energy for that child.
You're just the trigger.
Yeah, it's a for example, I just want to pick in geopod, like in this global world we live in. I mean, internet was created in USA, isn't it? If internet was not created, the world would be very, very different now. No, there's a plus, there's a positive side of it. The world has become very small in the information matter, but at the same time, we are feeling away from each other. We're feeling more separated. I wonder why. It's so interesting. So I'm telling this to myself as well. We need to connect more in inner net, not internet.
That's a wonderful way of putting it, right?
I know. This is how it is.
Right.
And it's amazing.
We've sort of lost touch of the internet owing to the internet,
exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So we need to reverse that.
Everyone is in the phone. Everyone. That's what one thing that disappoints me. It's everyone is so distracted. So distracted. Even me.
How difficult is it for creators like you? How has internet affected creators like you?
Oh, it's very disappointing some point, because the good things doesn't get to scene, the bad things get spiked right away. You know, that's the human psychology of survival. What sells? Violence sells. Sex sells. You know? So people are so put into that plate of survival, they cannot think of anything else. Because they have to think of what they're going to make next day, what they're going to feed their children next day. If you're in that place, how can you think about, you know, being a wonderful unity place and creating music? You know, it's there's no time. So, for example, if there is too many dishes in your plate, then you're not going to appreciate any food because you don't know what to eat.
About your work, Manoj, your work is happening in a very, very unique space, a rare space, that's how I see it. You know, between Nepali folk music to Indian classical raga, and then there's also one of the very prominent part is the global spiritual element that you incorporate in your music, right? It's so rare, so unique, and so beautiful. Just out of curiosity, did you ever feel the pressure to simplify your sound for wider acceptance?
You know, that's one of my advantages of being in the West and able to play the bansuri. The way I played was it was almost like hybrid. I could play the way that was soothing for Western ears, because when I moved to US, it was around like in 1998 to 2000, the yoga culture was very booming. And when I started to play, when some of those, like, you know, like all the kirtans and the spiritual song, it was incorporated even into, like, you know, movies, big movie, Matrix and all this, you know, they would use the Sanskrit mantras and all this in their background music, you know. And so you can play the same note. For example, just give you a little bit of an example, Sudan, of this. Sounds very Nepali.
Right.
And it could be on the mountain. But if I say,
that's the signature of Manoj Newana.
So if I play same flute, but I'll. It sounds very different. It sounds very more towards, you know, Scottish, Irish, right. You know, that sound. Because the way they they play and how they incorporate the accent, the textures, is very different. Again, I'm coming back to the same. What kind of spectrum you are listening into? What you are, you know, when the kid was when they are conceived, the first organ developed was hearing. You know? Yeah. So it's so interesting that the kids are listening all the things. The blueprint of that kid is deciding then what mom is listening. Isn't that amazing? And other thing, when you take a last breath, when you're dying, the last sense that's going to lose is also hearing. So people think the person is dead, but actually you'll be listening still, because that's the sense, last sense you will have. So listening is such a big power.
Right, you're taking me to various zones. I thought I'd be talking about music and diplomacy, but here I am transported to, you know, some metaphysical. But this is wonderful to know. I can really gauge the intensity of a creator's mind and the creator's soul, right? Such a wonderful and warming conversation this has become. And this is also making me wonder, when you perform abroad, Manoj, do you think primarily of the music, or are you always aware about your presence, Nepal, or audience? What is that awareness level when you really perform?
Well, you know, to have this wonderful instrument, which is Nepali instrument, that's already, people are already, like the way I play, because of, again, why Manoj then? Why people want Manoj's sound? Because I'm so blessed, I'm grateful to Pashupatinath and Bodhanath. I had a advantage of somehow I could play that I can make my own accent that's soothing to the Western ear. You know, yesterday I got a call from Hollywood. You know, they needed a track. You know, why they call me, you know. There's so many flute players out there because they heard me and they like my accent. And there is you know, so I'm grateful to that because I was flexible. I didn't say this is my way and I'm going to stay that way, you know. And I'm glad that I was able to, you know, practice with the people and who are very open-minded, you know. And in music, you have to be open-minded.
As a creator, from what I read from you, from this very, very short conversation I had, the ability to blend into the vastness of music or the earth itself is very, very important.
It's very important.
For a creator.
Very, very important. Coming to Nepal, for me, it inspires me so much. Tomorrow, I would request you one thing, Shivani. The first sound you will hear in your bed in the morning, the first sound when you wake up, notice that sound, if you can. The first tweet of the bird, which awakes the whole world, that tweet.
How does that make a difference?
Well, you'll know it.
You'll have to
I cannot explain, because that tweet is such a gentle tweet, but it's the most powerful tweet.
What is the power of music that political narratives don't?
So what kind of ripple you're going to create, how we're going to create, what are those elements going to help you? It all depends on that. And music is, again, it's music. Nobody can stop music, you know. Music, the real music comes between the notes. It's the silence. I would love to see Nepal hosting World Music Festival. I would love to see that. Bringing some amazing musicians and bringing. I remember going to Indonesia a long time ago, and the government has initiated this festival, and they want all the instruments that are made out of bamboo, and they chose me to be part of it. And everybody bringing the bamboo instruments, you know, from drums to it was. So I want to request to our government and people who influence to bring world stage, give them a platform so they could celebrate, they can learn from here as well as collaborate with the musicians here. And not just music, dance, and cuisines, and, you know, like, we have so much to offer.
Do you not think Nepal lags hugely on the confidence side when it comes to music, that we largely wait for external validation?
That's our part of our culture, I would say. You know, like the one that say, the expectation. You know, myself, you know, in my family, we are so not saying that we need to do it ourselves and we're going to do it. We think, oh, maybe my dad will do it or my mother will do it. It's something that the expectation culture we have. That, you know, that kind of attitude. But again, it's now we need to move ahead. We need to open that door and it's not just, and confidence comes again from the claiming our culture. We need to claim back our culture. We're so influenced by everything West is great. Everything comes from West is great. There are great things about West, but we have also so many amazing things we have. We need to claim it, and then we can exchange. We can teach them. For example, like yoga, all this come from our culture, isn't it? No. Now, I'm bringing my friend who's a yoga teacher who is teaching yoga to us. So, you see that. That's so we need to.
How can you do it? Like looking at your journey, what possibilities do you see if Nepal chooses to engage more internationally? How can we do it?
I just saw this documentary about our queen, Lakpa Sherpa.
Lakpa Sherpa, right.
My God, it touched my heart so much. A single woman coming from a mountain, fighting all the way to, this patriarchal society with her, with her Western husband to, she never gave up. Found her stage in the world. She plowed through. Nobody could stop her, no? This is the country where Buddha chose to be born. He could have born anywhere, but he chose here. This is the place. We have so much to offer to the world. We have so many amazing. Nepali people are so resilient. They travel to find a better life for their family. They sacrifice everything. They go work so hard in 60 degrees Celsius heat. They climb mountains that no oxygen. They, they go fight for others' war. It's been like that for centuries. Now that needs to be stopped.
Right.
We need to work together. We need to come together as a brothers and sisters and put away all the differences, and make one song together. Song together, we can all sing. That's what I think.
Right, wonderfully said. Manoj, let's talk about the Grammy moment. What was it like?
Oh my God. Well, it was 2020. I've been very blessed to also to collaborate with some Westerner musicians, and one of them was Deva Pramal and Miten. They were, Miten and Deva. They were very inspired by Eastern philosophy. Also, actually, they were very inspired by Osho's world, and through that they got to learn a lot about the mantras and the beauty of what our music can bring to the people, the serenity, the healing power of music. So when they heard I'm playing the flute in such a unique way, they thought, wow, this boy is good, So I started to collaborate with them, travel with them for almost like 15, 16 years. I've traveled so many places. And through them, their platform, I've really I've reached out to many people in the different countries. And one of the album that we did together it was actually Ravi Shankar's daughter, Anushka Shankar, is also guest artist in the album. And it was very lucky that it deserved it. It was amazingly produced. And when I went to Los Angeles to be there with 10,000 people in the Staple Arena, it was amazing. I wore a Nepali dress and instead of kukri, I put my bansuri.
Wow. Did it by any chance change you as a musician?
I don't believe in the place that you have to give an award to recognize music, The music again, the music I play, it doesn't need anybody's validation. Music is so powerful, and we all have our own songs. Nobody can tell you're not singing well, or you're not good enough. No, that's so wrong. So I want everybody find their own voice. So never tell your kid that you cannot sing. You say you sing. You have an amazing voice, and you practice, it'll come to you.
From what I see, Manoj, is you're not only disseminating or giving away the things that you have in your soul, right? You're also gathering a lot of things in pieces, and maybe in substance, and those that are intangible, from places that you travel and that you do intensively.
Yeah.
Right? So if you could walk us through a few, I'm sure our audience are going to love it.
Yeah, well, let me see, what can I do? I call this one kachua.
Huh? Okay.
Look like a kachua, no?
That's a Nepali name for it.
Nepali name, kachua.
Okay.
But this one particularly comes from Russia. It's a part of, it's somewhere in mid-Russia. It's very beautifully carved, and they call it hand pan. It's quite popular nowadays. And I can play this for a little bit, huh?
Who would imagine something that looks so simple as this can do wonders?
If you look at it, it's all the bells put together, like singing bowls. It's I'm sure you have gone to some sound healing. Basically, the sound of singing bowls, bells. Sounds like a beautiful, no? Your blood pressure will be down, your heart rate would be down, and you're in a place of just pure awareness. That's what we want.
As we head forward towards wrapping up this conversation,
Yeah.
Manoj, anything still unfinished for you, creativity or philosophically?
That's a beautiful question. For me, it's now the practice is being present. I don't long for, I want to, win Grammy next, or I want to go that. My fantasy now is more to practice to be present, to how to be present with myself, to improve, how to be more mindfulness, and how to create music that helps others. You don't need to change. I don't think you can change the country. I think it's good to start with your own home, your own room. Can you do some changes in your own room? So I'm working in my own room.
Fixing your internet. That's going to be.
If I can fix myself, maybe I can think of, it's 40 plus year now. I realize the world is not going to be perfect. The fantasy we think, I don't think that's going to, there's always going to be something. Always. Just like the road I live in Bodo, there always somebody's digging for the last 30 years.
And you don't know what
it's so funny. They built the perfect road, and next day they're already digging it. God,
and that never ends.
So I just okay,
so this is not going to
just
end.
Join them
and finish the work.
I know. So that's where I am.
Right. That was a beautiful anecdote that you ended with. Well, words can take us this far. We know we can go on and on, but for now, thank you so much, Manoj, for coming over, sharing with us with this. I really am falling short of words, and I'm just wishing that I would have learned a few of these notes so that I could speak better to you, right?
Well, your voice, again, remember, it's not the instrument you're playing. It's every moment, every breath is so amazing. Think about your breath, how how powerful it is. I would like to bring again the spirituality in our breath. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar. When you inhale, that's a Brahma, the creator. When you inhale the breath, the oxygen, the lungs, nerves are going to take up, oxygens. That's the Vishnu, which is the sustainer. If you don't breathe, you'll die. In 5 minutes, you're dead. No? And when you exhale, all the carbon dioxide, the things that you don't need, it's coming out. That's Maheshwar. That's transformation. So every breath, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar, Brahma, Vishnu. I tell you, Shivani, it'll change your day completely. It'll change you, it'll change your friends, it'll change your family. You just live in a total gratefulness.
Right. Thank you, Manu, so much. And I'm already thinking we'll need another session of interview to talk spirituality, which is again one signature of Manu Sneva. Right. You'll have to be back for that. For now, thank you so much for the great wealth of insight and the depth of, the soul that you bring to this interview.
Thank you, Shivani.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to have you here.
Hope to see you again.
Hopefully, for sure. It's a promise. Power does not always announce itself. Sometimes it arrives quietly through breath, as Manu Sneva so explicitly explains. Of course, bamboo, the magic bamboo that he brought us here, and memory. Manu Sneva reminds us that long before nations speak, they sound. Thank you for joining us on Geopod. See you next week.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu, public service broadcasting PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World, facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries, where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it. NTV World, taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by. Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
Good evening and welcome to yet another edition of Business World. I am Siksha Bhattrai. This week, Japan's markets climbed after national elections as investors cheered policy continuity and fiscal support. India and Malaysia boosted trade in technology and semiconductors. The US and Argentina signed a new trade deal on imports and exports. Amazon posted strong profits, but shares fell on higher AI spending. YouTube's revenue now tops Netflix. Bitcoin hit a one-year low, and the EU flagged possible penalties for TikTok. Over the next few minutes, we'll take a closer look at each of these developments, exploring what they mean for the markets, businesses, and economies worldwide. Japanese financial markets rose this week following the country's national election. The Nikkei index reached a record level as investors responded to expectations of policy continuity and fiscal support. The yen recovered some ground while government bond prices fell.
Japanese stocks surged to a record high on Monday as Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's Liberal Democratic Party basked in a historic election victory. The LDP secured 316 out of 465 seats in Sunday's election, the first time a single party has won a two-thirds lower house majority since Japan's parliament was established in its current form in 1947. The Nikkei 225 index rallied by more than 5% in early trade on Monday, briefly crossing the 57,000 mark for the first time. It then gave up some gains but still closed up 3.9% at a record high of 56,363.94. Japanese stocks rose, bonds fell, and the battered yen recovered some ground on Monday after the LDP's win was seen as enabling decisive action on fiscal stimulus.
India and Malaysia have reaffirmed plans to expand bilateral trade and strategic cooperation. The two countries signed agreements covering semiconductors, digital technologies, and disaster management. Both the governments said they will prioritize implementation and encourage investment and joint projects. The partnership comes as Asian economies seek more resilient technology supply chains.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim have reaffirmed plans to deepen bilateral ties during Modi's two-day visit to Kuala Lumpur. The leaders described relations as a comprehensive strategic partnership and oversaw the exchange of 11 agreements covering semiconductors, disaster management, and peacekeeping. Modi highlighted cooperation in chips, AI, and digital technologies, while Anwar stressed faster implementation and expanded trade, including local currency settlements. The visit marks Modi's first to Malaysia in over a decade.
Argentina and the United States have announced a new trade agreement. Argentina will ease restrictions on a range of U.S. imports, including agricultural goods, vehicles, and medicines. In return, the United States will reduce tariffs on selected Argentine exports. The deal follows a framework agreed last year and reflects closer economic ties between the two countries.
Argentina and the US said they reached an expansive trade deal on Thursday, boosting Argentine President Javier Milei as he moves to open up the South American nation's protectionist economy. The countries announced a framework for the agreement last November, saying Argentina would ease restrictions on a range of American imports, including cattle, dairy products, medicines, chemicals, machinery, medical devices, and vehicles. These concessions were significant for Argentina, where local industries, long shielded by high tariffs, have voiced concerns about their ability to compete with U.S. manufacturers. In return, the U.S. would lift reciprocal tariffs on imports of certain scarce natural resources and pharmaceutical ingredients from Argentina, according to the framework. The agreement marks the latest development in the close alliance between the U.S. President Donald Trump and Javier Milei, who has reshaped Argentine foreign policy to align with the U.S.
Amazon reported quarterly profit of $21.2 billion on net sales of $213.4 billion. The company also raised its outlook for capital spending this year, largely linked to artificial intelligence infrastructure. Following the announcement, Amazon shares fell on trading. Other major technology firms have also indicated higher spending to support cloud and AI services.
Amazon shares dove more than 11% on Thursday as the computing and retail titan reported strong sales but significantly boosted spending estimates. Amazon reported a profit of $21.2 billion on net sales of $213.4 billion in the recently ended quarter as its AWS cloud computing, retail, advertising, and chips businesses thrived. It was forecast that Amazon's capital expenditures would reach about $147 billion this year, mostly due to AI spending initiatives. The earnings release comes on the heels of Alphabet and Microsoft reporting that they are seeing cloud computing demand surge and are continuing to invest heavily in infrastructure supporting the technology.
Bitcoin fell to its lowest level in more than a year. The wider cryptocurrency market also recorded losses. Market analysts point to expectations of higher interest rates in the United States and reduced appetite for risk assets.
Bitcoin has hit 16-month low, crashing to $60,000 and wiping out gains from its historic peak of over $122,000 just months ago, despite U.S. President Donald Trump's executive orders and his vision for the U.S. as the crypto capital of the planet. Even personal presidential backing could not stop the slide. The crypto market has bled $1 trillion in value in just 1 month, signaling a growing pessimism among traditional investors.
The European Union has issued findings from its investigation into TikTok. Regulators said certain platform features encourage prolonged use, including among minors. TikTok has been asked to make changes under EU digital rules or face financial penalties. The company said it does not agree with the findings.
The European Union is taking a hammer to TikTok's secret sauce. Regulators have issued a major ultimatum: fix your addictive design or face fines totaling billions of dollars. Following a multi-year investigation, the EU found that features like infinite scroll and autoplay prioritize engagement over user well-being, particularly for children. TikTok has slammed the findings as meritless, but the consequences are very real. To avoid a fine of up to 6% of its global revenue, the platform may be forced to disable infinite scroll, change its algorithms, and implement mandatory screen time breaks.
China is preparing for increased travel during the Lunar New Year period. Authorities estimate 9.5 billion cross-regional passenger trips over a 40-day season. Road travel is expected to account for most of the journeys. Rail and air travel volumes are forecast to reach seasonal highs.
Beijing residents shop for spring couplets and festival foods, as well as watch lantern shows as they prepare to celebrate the upcoming Lunar New Year of the horse. The horse, which is the 7th animal in the 12-year Chinese zodiac cycle, is traditionally associated with high energy, intelligence, and a free-spirited, independent nature. The Chinese New Year falls on February 17 this year, and the official holiday lasts 9 days. The holiday period also marks one of the busiest and most important seasons for businesses across China. Retailers, restaurants, and e-commerce platforms experience a sharp surge in consumer spending as families purchase gifts, new clothing, specialty foods, and decorations believed to bring good fortune. The annual travel surge generated by the holiday is expected to generate a record 9.5 billion inter-regional passenger trips during the 40-day period running from February 2nd to March 13 this year.
Discussions focused on access to materials used in electronics, batteries, and defense manufacturing. China currently dominates much of the global processing capacity for these minerals.
The US has launched an effort to form a trade zone for critical minerals that are key to making everything from smartphones to weapons as it tries to break China's dominance of the industry. On Wednesday, the US State Department hosted the first critical minerals ministerial event, which was attended by countries and organizations, including the UK, European Union, Japan, India, South Korea, Australia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Delegates discussed the availability and access to minerals crucial to the manufacture of things like computer chips, chips, and EV batteries. The mining and processing of such critical minerals, which include rare earths, is dominated by China.
The Bank of England has held its main interest rate at 3.75%. The bank said inflation is expected to ease later this year. However, growth forecasts for 2026 were revised lower and unemployment is projected to rise.
The Bank of England has held interest rates at 3.75% after a knife-edge vote, but has opened the door to cuts later this year. Borrowing costs were widely expected to be unchanged after the bank reduced them from 4% in December. Bank of England's Governor Andrew Bailey reiterated his forecast that inflation, which measures the pace of price growth, will fall close to bank's 2% target from April onwards, against a previous expectation that it would hit that level in 2027.
Recent developments provide more confidence that inflation is on track to return to the target soon. But we need to ensure that inflation falls all the way back to the 2% target and stays there. So today we've held bank rate at 3.75%.
The bank said policies announced in the budget
YouTube reported annual revenue of more than $60 billion. The figure exceeds revenue reported by Netflix. The platform continues to expand both advertising and paid subscription services. The results reflect ongoing changes in global media consumption.
YouTube has officially claimed the crown. In a historic first, Google revealed the platform generated over $60 billion in 2025, far surpassing Netflix's $45 billion, with over 325 million paid users across Google services and Shorts averaging a staggering 200 billion daily news. YouTube has become essential digital infrastructure. By innovating with new premium tiers and exclusive features like background play, Google is successfully turning casual viewers into loyal subscribers. From a landmark partnership with the BBC to hosting the Oscars in 2029, the platform's evolution is complete.
China has introduced a humanoid robot for autism diagnosis and therapy. The system combines robotics with brain-computer interface technology. It is currently in use at selected hospitals and treatment centers.
China has introduced its first humanoid robot for the diagnosis and treatment of autism, offering new possibilities for early screening, rehabilitation, and long-term care. Designed to capture and interpret subtle brain signals through non-invasive, high-precision EEG technology, the increased from 9.73% in 2023 to 10.64% in 2024 and could reach 30% in 3 years. Bourges, a city in central France, benefits from cultural events and local defense industry activity, but online shopping continues to draw spending away from city centers. The government has announced measures including AI training for retailers, deployment of commerce managers, incentives for business creation, higher taxes on vacant properties, and a small parcel tax to limit imports from China. Local authorities